going on, everyone? Conservative video dipper here. Ugh. I wanted to do a late night stream because I want to actually talk about this. I want to talk about this Ukrainian girl that was murdered by a black thug. Now, I'm not saying that every single black person is a thug, but look at the statistics, folks. Look at the statistics, right? Statistics show black communities make up 13% of per capita of the crime rates, right? They make up 13% of the crime rate. And when this white girl, this white Ukrainian, who fled her country to get away from the war, came to America just so that she could get away from the war in her home, ended up being killed here instead of, but nobody's going to talk about it. Instead, everyone's going to ignore it. The social media is going to ignore it. The people that ignore it in media are doing it because they're cowards. They're absolute 100% cowards. And this Ukrainian girl did nothing to this black thug. This thug decided to murder her on a bus for no apparent reason. Hey, Freya, how you doing? She got murdered, people, for no reason. This Ukrainian girl will not be talked about on the media because that got murdered by a black thug, because the media is cowards. They are cowardly. They are afraid to acknowledge that this black person is another thug that is part of the reason why we have problems here. This is exactly why we have problems with this type of people. That these Democrats say, no, these people aren't the problem. Yes, they are. People like this thug who killed an innocent Ukrainian girl are thugs. And the media won't talk about it. You know why? Because he's a black person. Because the media is going to cover up. Because the media does not want you to know what the 13% of per capita, the crime rate, and who makes it up. And who makes up that percentage. Not every, again, black person, a thug, but this is kind of where I'm getting to the point. It's called fatigue from these things. I'm getting fatigued by these people that are politicians, literally out there right now, and they don't want to do a damn thing about these people, that are out there in their cities, hurting people, innocent people, destroying property, doing bad things. They don't want to allegedly destroy these thugs, but they'd rather let the thugs destroy us and the towns and the cities that the city helped build. All because these politicians are just as bad as these thugs that are hurting innocent people. This is exactly why, ladies and gentlemen, I have always said I'm not afraid to call this bullshit out. And I know this word might sound a little harsh, but it's black fatigue. It has to be said. I'm tired of this black privilege fatigue that these thugs, not all of them, but people like this thug can go out and do bad things to bad people and feel like they can't get away from it. That's black privilege. Oh, but conservative, I thought you said that there was no such thing as privilege. Well, there is. It's called black privilege. Because this thug had the privilege, because he's using his alleged skin color to try to get away from it. And the media is using his skin color because they don't want to talk about it because it makes all of the black communities really super uncomfortable here. But you got to be honest, it's black fatigue. That's kind of what I get when it comes down to these types of people like this guy that killed unalive that innocent girl. These type of black fatigue, these types of people are giving me this type of feeling. We're sick of Black Lives Matter. We're sick of these people that are politicians that are sitting on their asses doing nothing for their city, but allowing their city to be destroyed by these thugs, including not just the black thugs, but all of these liberal thugs that are out there destroying that part of their city. I'm getting tired of it. And yes, Black Lives Matter is one of them that has given me this fatigue from dealing with them. These people have gotten so much leeway that no one's going to call them out on their bullshit. The media won't do it because Black Lives Matter. That's why. Oh, all lives can't matter until Black Lives Matter. Yeah, bullshit. I'm sorry, but I'm going to say this, and I want you to know this, people. I hold my head up high, and I will say this proudly with my chest to all of those black community members that do not represent any of these democratic bullshit. You guys and gals need to start coming up with a plan. Help us come up with a plan to stop this shit from happening. Because these liberals claim that they're speaking for you, but they're not. They're not speaking for you. They never have spoken for you. They don't give a shit about you. They don't care whether you're whatever. If you're black and you're tired of this, then please help. Help us find a way to stop this shit. Well, Trump allegedly called war on Chicago. No, he didn't. You know what he actually called out for? To help clean up Chicago from all the problems that they've been having with a lot of the, 13%. He wasn't calling war on Chicago. A lot of people in Chicago are already pissed. They're thinking there's a war coming in their direction. And guess who they're blaming? Trump. Because Trump literally said out his mouth, we are going to clean up Chicago. That we're going to stop this shit happening. This same shit that happened to this girl needs to be stopped. We need to stop these people that are hurting people from letting them get away with it. That's what we need to do. That's what Trump literally is trying to do. He's not trying to cause a war, right? That's what Trump says. And all these liberals are saying, well, it's not the black people's fault. No, it's not every single black person's fault, but the black community, you guys need to help us. If you are not part of this and this does not represent you, then help the people that are fighting against this. Help them. Stand with them. Because we're tired of this shit. I'm tired of this whole 13% of the bad communities that don't represent you doing the shit and making your community look bad. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the black community being blamed for shit when it's the 13% of the bad ones doing it. And then everyone else gets blamed for it. Black community claims that, it starts with the alleged white man. The white man's got to acknowledge their issues. Excuse fucking me? No. White man didn't do nothing. White man didn't cause you to allegedly go out there and unalive a Ukrainian chick or a Ukrainian girl that was fleeing from her country because of war, coming here to America to find shelter, to be allegedly murdered by a black thug. That was not our problem. That was something that we white people didn't do. Guess who did it, though? The black community. One of the people that makes up the 13%. But the black community does not want to see it that way. And you want to know why? Because that those that say and hold their chest up high and say Black Lives Matter are the ones exactly we know are the ones out there doing that shit. It's not every black community, but those that are holding their fist up saying BLM are exactly the motherfucking terrorists, alleged terrorists that are out there doing that same shit that this thug did. And by the way, this guy, I'm not going to say his name. I'm not even going to talk much about him because I get tired of talking about these thugs that do shit like this, that are bad people. But he had a past criminal record. Did that surprise you at all? Does that surprise you at all? Does that actually surprise you? Does that surprise you at all that he had a criminal record? Probably not. Because, yep, you know why. He's one of the 13% that make up the crime rate. But we can't talk about it because, oh, Black Lives Matter. Boo. Get the fuck over yourself. Black lives don't matter. All lives matter. Yes, black lives are included. But not these people. Not these people doing this stupid shit out there. Not these people that are out there hurting innocent people, especially this Ukrainian girl that got murdered. Her life mattered. But where's the uproar? Where's the uproar? Where's the uproar that she got unalived by a thug? Nope, there isn't one. You know why? Because they're trying to hide it. Because they're fucking trying to hide it, people. They're trying to hide the fact that what he did was murder. He unalived her. And that's murder. And I told you guys, I'm not holding back. I'm not holding back no more. This is privilege. This is the kind of privilege that, again, I reiterate, not every single black community, every single um, black community member is bad. But this is the kind of privilege that these demographic 13% black community members have. And you know the really fucked up part? You know the really fucked up part about this? They're probably just gonna let them go. They're not gonna do shit. They're not gonna do a fucking thing to them. Because this is the problem. This is the fucked up part about it. Is that this is the problem that Trump's been talking about. That these kind of people that go out there and say, well, there's no such thing as, black on black crime, black communities don't do none of this. Actually, Trump proved all of you wrong. You guys all jump on Trump like that ain't true. But guess what? It is true. It is true. And you want to bet how much of this, when Trump reports majority of this shit happening, what does the media do? They jump on Trump like flies on shit like that. Oh, that's not true. That's fake news. In your own words, Mr. President, it's fake news, right? But it is true because we all know that 13% of the demographic in democratic states do certain things that are very despicable. Oh, but I'm going to be deemed a racist too because, hey, guess what? I'm reporting on this shit and I'm being honest about it. Black fatigue, black privilege. And you don't want to tell me that's what's going on? I don't hate anyone, but what I hate is how the news does not tell the truth when it comes to certain situations that are happening, and especially in a democratic state. What happens? What happens in a democratic state? You get crime rates, you get unaliving, you get the whole entire state screwed up. People start basically running it like California. And then on top of that, number five, you get Democrats that protect these people. Like this alleged guy, or this guy that unalived a Ukrainian girl. You want to bet the politicians are probably going to try to protect him? Of course they will. Because you know why they will protect him? Because he allegedly does no harm. He does no wrong. Because the Democrats virtue to them. This is what I'm sick of. I don't care. You know, if we be honest here about this, but and say what I gotta say anymore, because I'm kind of tired of it. I'm very tired of it. I'm tired of the screwed up part of how the liberal black community is allowed to get away with this shit for so long. And no one calls them on this shit. But Trump does. But oh, when Trump does, oh, that's a racist. Or oh, conservative, you're going to be looking like a racist because you got a flag behind you and you're talking about the black on black issue or the black on white issue. No, that doesn't make me a racist. You know what doesn't make me a racist? Speaking truth. It makes me a good person. It makes me a true journalist. It makes me somebody that speaks about this story and shows dismay and disgust towards this kind of issue when these issues are being swept under the rug because guess who doesn't want to speak about it? The left nor to the right. But your old boy conservative over here is the number one person who's going to speak on it because I'm not afraid. And I have nothing to lose or hide or fear. But they do. They worry that they will be deemed racist. They could lose their job. They could have shit backfire on them. That's probably why the news agencies are cowards. But your old boy conservative over here isn't a coward. He's going to speak on it. Because God only knows why. Because it's the truth. And it is what needs to be said. This is an issue that we have to deal with. Well, guess what? Trump's had enough. And he's saying, I'm going to clean up Chicago. I'm going to clean up all of the states that are liberal right now. I'm going to help try to clean them up and make America better. That is an acting president who is not abusing his power. He's using his power to help America deal with crime ratio. So that no state has to deal with a crime statistic or be another alleged statistic like that girl, Ukrainian girl was. God bless Trump for doing such things. But oh, well, the left are going to say, what a schmaltzy. He's calling war. What the hell? Trump's abusing his power, right? That's what the left will say. Because they don't understand Number one, that meme was from a movie, which, funny enough, Trump knows how to meme the shit out of these people and make these people heads spin like a damn fucking dreidel, round and round and round, and they don't know what the hell really Trump's saying because they're stupid. They don't understand that was a meme. And what Trump was saying basically was, we're going to make America better by taking away the crime rates, by cleaning up the cities. And the liberals are going to go bananas because they think that Trump's doing something bad. And the media's out there on the left love to lie about it, and they're going to lie about it continuously, consecutively. The left media not only will lie about it, but they'll call him a alleged genocidal maniac. That's what they'll deem him as. Watch. They're already doing it. And their heads are spinning like a damn dreidel. Not realizing that's not what he's doing. And then the right will actually defend Trump, rightfully so, which good for doing. Laughing at these idiots saying, this is what you guys wanted. You guys wanted crime rate. Well, guess what? We don't want it. We're done with it. We're now going to clean up your mess. And the one person who can do that is our president. Because we don't want shit like that. That thug who killed an innocent Ukrainian woman fleeing from her own country, coming here for safety. We don't want more people to die or be allegedly unalive. And it is sad news to hear what happened to this woman. But guess what? Do you think Trump's going to acknowledge it? Yes. Trump probably more than likely will acknowledge it. And I think this is kind of what fueled Trump a little bit more when he heard about it. I think that put fire under his ass to make that meme and say, we're not dealing with it no more. Fuck it. We're done. I don't blame Trump. I don't blame people being outraged. But what I do blame is thugs, bad people that are 13% of the crime rate out there doing that shit that they do. And the media thinks that it's smart enough, that it's a smart move to sweep it under the rug when they shouldn't. Because it's something that needs to be acknowledged. And who's acknowledged it the most? I have. Mark Dice has. Charlie Kirk has. Benny Johnson has. A lot of the true, actual conservative and true Republican news have called it for years, saying this shit is gotta end. When will it end? When will people get tired of these lies? These constant, perpetual lies. Sorry, I feel like my brightness is a little too bright. But it's not. When is it enough for the media to stop lying? When is it enough that these liberals will get their heads out of their ass and finally decide at one point to learn something that we cannot deal with this no more? And then the liberals, Bless their little heart. I pity them. I don't hate them, I pity them. Here's why I pity them the most. I pity these liberals the most because what they don't understand is that no matter how hard it is for them to reconcile and understand what's happening, they just choose not to. I feel bad that they choose not to because this is the problem that they are facing, their own evil deeds. And some of them are finally waking up to realizing this is not what they wanted or what they once allegedly wanted. Should never have been that way at all. Clean cut. It should have never mattered that they wanted that bullshit because it was bad. What they were doing was hurting innocent people, allegedly screwing everyone out of a chance to have a better life, to have the life that people deserve. But here we are in 2025. And I look back, I've watched tonight, this evening, some videos on Biden and how stupid and allegedly pedophilic he was. And I feel disgusted with what our country kind of became before, Trump. I feel bad that our country had to suffer because people decided they would rather allegedly have socialism than capitalism. They would rather turn their cities into a hellhole where people would basically want to move because they don't want to deal with crime rates. They don't want to deal with, certain people of certain demographics that allegedly in a Democratic state make up 13% of the crime rate, which we know who does. Again, I'm not saying every black person is bad, but I'm saying Democratic states have a lot of those problems from a certain demographic. And it's proof in the pudding right there in Chicago, Washington, Portland, Oregon. Thank God I don't live in neither of those states. All Democratic and all going to hell in a handbasket like that because they all wanted to vote Democratic. And what did the Democrats do for you people? Not a damn fucking thing, but lied and just allegedly use you for their votes, for your votes for them. The inconvenience for them is that you don't vote for them, or you don't give them money, or you're against them, which pisses them off even more. But to us, that's not an inconvenience. That's smart. That's smart. That is smart. Not voting Democratic. You know why it's smart? Because your city won't go to hell in a handbasket like some of these other cities are. Most of these cities that are Democratic are going to hell. Look at, again, Chicago, Washington, Portland, Oregon. I have a friend who lives in Portland, Oregon. He hates it there. It's got hell in a handbasket. And he's called me up a few times and said, "Man, conservative, you are so fucking lucky you live in Tennessee." Like, yeah, I know. I'm thankful I live in Tennessee, a red state. Not any blue state, but a red state. I'm lucky not to be in any of those areas. Because guess what? I did. I'd probably want to move just like that in an instant. Because I know exactly what would happen. It would be a disaster. And I wouldn't make it. I wouldn't make it. Because I vote red. Every time down the board, I vote red. Because people like me are sick of watching even other cities like Chicago, Washington, Portland, Oregon, California going to hell in a handbasket like that. We're tired of it. Even though we don't live there, we're tired of watching it happen to them. Because imagine those people that live in those cities have to deal with that are not democratic. They know exactly what's wrong. But there's too many of the idiots voting blue because they would rather not vote for the Cheeto man who has an intellectual brain more than a alleged creepy pedophile or some Democrat who doesn't have an agenda or a plan to save anyone. They'd just rather watch it burn. That's what's happening. Do you think allegedly the wildfires in California are a sign that this shit's happening and that this shit should be dealt with? Look at Gavin Newsom, or Gavin Newsom, I call him. He's trying to run for Democratic 2028 primaries. He'll probably win unless the Democrats got a better idea. He'll probably win the primaries. He'll probably win for the Democratic ticket. You want to bet what's going to happen if allegedly Gavin Newsom wins the presidency? We're fucked. The whole entire United States is fucked. We're done if Gavin Newsom wins. If Gavin Newsom wins, we're fucked. We need to vote red across the board. California should have voted red. Washington should have voted red. Portland, Oregon should have voted red. Chicago should have voted red. All of the Democratic states should have voted red. Because they should have seen what the Biden era brought to us. Nothing. Except maybe a few haha chuckles. They should have voted red. But no, they all wanted Kamali, the cackling hyena, thinking she was a great idea. Just because you don't like the Cheeto man doesn't mean you should be voting really against him. Look, this is where I tell people, if you're going to fucking vote, don't just vote because you don't like the other opponent. Vote because either the person that is Democratic has bad ideas, and 99% of the time right now, Any Democrat is not going to be a good Democrat. Any liberal is not going to be a good liberal. We already know that. But just because they're Democratic does not mean, oh, just vote against them. Or, hey, we got a Republican that's going against him or them. Doesn't make them a good Republican either. Vote for somebody that has more intellectual brains to think about what we need. And that's sad, Freya. That's very sad that it was split. That's fucked up. But what's really fucked up is not every, sure, now more, a lot, 99 point, I think 9% of the time, the Democrats are going to be the dumbasses. But don't just vote for straight up red, because what if the person that's Republican isn't doing or going to do his job? Or what if he's a rhino? He or she or they are a rhino. Vote with intelligence, at least. Vote with intelligence and integrity for your people. Don't just vote to vote, but vote what you see will be right. Who's on the ticket? And whoever's on the ticket, are they going to keep their promises to us? Well, Trump sure fuck did. 99.9%, 100 at a time. Trump always kept his promise. He never backed down. He never ran away. Did Biden ever keep his promise? No. That's why a lot of people wanted to vote for Trump. But there were quite a few of the idiots that voted Kamala because they just voted because they hated that person. That was a bad idea. That was a terrible idea. It was obvious we know why they did. But then when you look at truth, this is what the media won't tell you, is that our country is divided continuously. And we are consecutively being divided more and more and more. Because people aren't voting for what is right. They're voting against what's right. They're allowing people like this thug to continue to do bad things to people that are innocent people. And sure as hell, nobody's talking about it in the media. They just want to downplay it. They would rather downplay it so much. They don't get it. They don't understand that this is the kind of crap that people are getting fed up with. This is the kind of crap that the media is going to lie about. Oh, the Republicans are always the ones that are the evil ones. Not every Republican is a bad Republican. Sure, a long time ago, Democrats weren't always that bad. I mean, the Dixiecrats were bad. Let's be honest. Let's acknowledge it. Yes, the Dixiecrats were bad people. But people like JFK were not bad people. JFK probably was, again, in my opinion, a very mild Democrat. Very knowledgeable Democrat. He had a better thought about people that, you know, were good. He had a lot of character. And he showed his character by how he acted. not allegedly incoherently babbling like an idiot or allegedly sniffing children's hair or saying some racist random shit like what we know one president already did. And no, I'm not talking about Trump for all you libtards that might replay this later. But y'all know who I'm talking about and referring to. Creepy Jose. Yeah, JFK was a good Democrat. He was probably one of the last few Democrats that we will ever have as a good Democrat in our lifetime. Reagan was a conservative. And you know how rare it is? That probably in history was the first time a conservative won the election. A conservative. He was conservative. Very conservative. We will never have probably a conservative like that unless we find somebody like Reagan. We won't ever have a Democrat like JFK. Maybe RFK Jr., but I doubt he will ever run because he tried it and he lost. Now, I would never vote for RFK because, I don't like some of his policies and, I'm a little weary of him, but he might be a good last hope. He might not be the type of Democrat that's progressive. Sure, fuck, I don't think he is very progressive, but at least for you Democrats that are like JFK Democratic, that's your better hope. That's your better chance. But guess what? That ain't gonna happen. We're gonna get a progressive liberal or a progressive Democrat like Gavin Newsom, who's gonna really just clean our clog and screw everything Trump did up and reverse it again. And once we get it reversed, we're fucked. You'll never see anybody like Reagan again. Unless we can get somebody like Reagan back. Reagan was way ahead of his time. But the media doesn't want to tell you that because the media still wants to go after Reagan. Even though he's passed away for a long time now, Reagan actually was a hell of a good conservative. Very good. And you know the funny part about it is, he was also a movie actor too. Wink. But guess what? He didn't use his public or his famous movie privileges to get into the White House. He used common sense to get into the White House. RFK Jr. could use common sense to get into the White House and maybe show the Democrats, hey, we don't need progressivism to do things. We just need to work with the Republicans and the conservatives and the libertarians. We don't need none of this progressive crap. We just need to work together. And that's kind of what Reagan was about too, working with the opposing side. He worked with the Democrats. Sure, the Democrats may have not liked his ideas, but he worked with them to come up with an idea to make things better. And our modern day Reagan is Trump. Sure, Trump's a little controversy. Sure, there's a lot of controversial conversation points we could have about Trump. But let's look past that and look at what the media isn't telling you. That Trump, just like Reagan, has done a lot of good things. But they won't acknowledge that he's our last hope. He's our last hope for making things better. He's like what basically the modern day Reagan back then today would be. But nobody wants him. Everybody wants to hate on him. Because, like Reagan, he wasn't afraid to call shit out. Reagan wasn't afraid to acknowledge the problems that were arising. Reagan did the same thing Trump did. Calling shit out. Telling us, hey, you're going to have problems. Pay attention. I'm telling you this now because you folks over here in the future are going to have a big, big problem. And that's socialism in the form of liberalism. Yes, Reagan did say it. Socialism will come in the form of liberalism. How did Reagan know that? Is he a time traveler? Is he psychic? No. I don't think it was psychic readings that Reagan knew that this was coming. You know what made me think that Reagan actually knew why it was coming? Because of the patterns. He could see the patterns. He could see how back then the Democrats were starting to kind of lean towards, or the socialists, the progressive socialists were leaning, and what they would do, which is hijack liberalism, which really back then kind of didn't exist. But, pardon me, it was kind of a two-party system, kind of like how we have today. But only different, we do have liberalism. But he knew that socialists were going to do these things. He knew because the pattern was obvious. The pattern was there. He knew that these crimes were coming. He knew because this was what he could see. That these socialists are a one-trick pony. These progressive, democratic, liberal socialists are a one-trick pony. They're very predictable. They're easy to see. They're easy to find. Because, again, they're a one-trick pony. And that one-trick pony is hate, bigotry, anti-American, anti-capitalist, anti-religion, or anti-Christianity, I should say, type people. Go ahead and name if I missed something, please, anybody. Because this is kind of what I'm saying. It's easy if the one side is a one-trick pony, it's easy to see it. But the media doesn't want to expose it. Because we've given these one trick pony con artists enough power and enough leeway. They kind of right now rule a lot of the things. Not now, but uh, if we give them enough leeway again, they will start doing it again. And if we give them too much leeway, that's it's over. And I'm sure Reagan kind of knew that we were going to fail if we didn't pay attention. And that's where Trump comes in. What about Trump? Well, if a lot of people don't remember, Trump was originally a Democrat, right? He was probably not a progressive Democrat, as you would call it. He was kind of maybe like a JFK type Democrat, right? But a Democrat nevertheless. And then he realized, wait a minute, the Democrats aren't doing anything. They're really fucking up. So we gotta do something. Sure, Trump didn't really think about it a lot about running till a certain point in time in his life. But I bet you there's a saying that probably went through his head, and it goes like this: the buck stops here. Yes, exactly. Probably went through his head was that phrase: the buck stops here. And he had enough of the Democratic bullshit. He had enough of the pandering, the lies, the virtual signaling, even though it wasn't really much of a big deal back when he was around. But he was getting tired of all of it. He finally realized the Democrats were getting worse and worse with their behavior and how they perpetuated things and how they started acting and doing things and behaving and saying things. Just the whole entire one trick pony type shit, shenanigans, was enough for Trump to turn against the Democrats and say, enough's enough. We need to really buck up here. Pardon the pun. But we really need to buck up here. We really do. And that's probably what made him want to become president. Because he realized the buck does stop there. When is enough for these Democrats or progressive liberals, these socialist liberals? When is enough for these people? When they start, allegedly burning, looting, murdering, causing problems for their cities. The politicians aren't doing anything about it. The 13% of the crime rate is going on. I think that's kind of what made Trump decide that was, I don't want to deal with it no more. And that was rightfully a good thing. Trump ran in 2016. And I'm happy he ran. But the problem here is all the Democrats that were allegedly once Trump's friends, or friends, shall I say, turned against Trump because when he went from Democrat to running for president in 2016, to become Republican, they didn't like that. Why? Because they were part of the problem, and Trump knew it. Trump knew that people would turn against him on a dime like that. Did he have a problem with it? No. Why? Because Trump knew what needed to be done must be done. America has to get better, but it kind of has to get worse before it gets better. He tried in 2016. He did his best. God only knows he's only human. He's going to make mistakes like anyone else. But when it came to when Biden started running, that really kind of got off. That was not good. That was a bad thing. But here, after all of the shit that we had to deal with Biden, these Democrats haven't learned a damn freaking thing yet. To stop being stupid and letting the media and the bad Democratic politicians pander to you. When will they learn? Sadly, I don't think they ever will. I don't think that Democrats will ever learn anything because the Democrats don't want to learn. They would rather continue to watch our country be torn apart piece by them and their filthy alleged politicians that do nothing for them or us or for anyone but only them and their pockets and the deep state. Do I pity Joe Biden? Yes, I feel bad that that alleged senile old man was put through that issue. But does it make it right for what he's done? No. But when it comes down to the bottom line here, folks, truth must be said that we can't just keep hoping that they stop lying to us because they're never going to. Democrats will never stop lying to us or to anyone. Rhino Republicans will never stop lying and doing what they do to us because that's who they are. They're just bad people with bad ideas. Their bad ideas should be kind of a foreshadow of what we should not be doing next time. But guess what? It's going to happen again, I bet you. I bet you. This is it. This is it, Republicans. If we don't deal with this now, it will never be dealt with ever again. Because these degenerate cult followers of the Democratic and the deep state are going to allow it to continue to be perpetuated. And by that time, it will be so far too late, way worse than what Biden almost got us allegedly involved with, that we can't reverse it no more. He can't do it. Trump can't run one more time, as much as we want him to. As much as we would love to have Trump run again, he can't do it no more because the Constitution says you can only serve 2 terms, which is 8 years altogether. We can only have a president for 2 years. That's true. Would I love to have Trump run again? Hell yeah. I would love for him to at least run until he can't do it no more. But guess what? He can't. That's why, pardon me for a sec. Sorry. That's why we need to vote for somebody like Trump Jr., somebody like Charlie Kirk, or vote for a Republican that would actually take care of us. I would definitely vote for Charlie Kirk. Definitely. Smart man. Knows how to deal with questions that are very pressing that most Democrats would never be able to answer to us or to anyone, whether you're Republican or Democrat. I'm a conservative, and I have not seen a Democrat ever answer honestly to any questions. No integrity, no nothing, just bullshit. Lie, lie, lie. Panda, 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 virtual signal. I've seen some Republicans even try to do that. Mike Pence, a rhino, a fake Republican. I don't trust him as far as you can throw a stick at him. I don't trust him. I wouldn't vote for the man. I'd be upset with either one of those Democrats winning or him winning. That can't manage us. It's like trying to money manage. They don't know how to do it. But then here, Charlie Kirk, in my opinion, would be able to manage a little bit. I think honestly Charlie Kirk would have a great idea of how to save America, keep America, and do what is right. But I know Charlie Kirk would probably never run for president. My other pick would be Mark Dice. And I know this is a little sketch because um, people like Mark Dice would never probably do it. But Mark Dice would be one for my books. Very smart man. He's a freelance journalist like me. He would know how to do things. He would know how to solve problems. He would know how to call bullshit. But he wouldn't run. Don Jr. Don Jr., the goat, the goat's son. Fuck yeah, I'd vote for him. If I wasn't me, I'd vote for myself. All jokes aside, I actually would. I'd vote for conservative Dipper because he's got a good idea. Oh wait, that's me. Never mind, I can't vote for myself. Duh. I would honestly. I'd put a vote in for me if I wasn't me. If I was sitting here watching a YouTube channel, I'd be like, "Yep, vote for this guy. This guy's smart. He may have a lazy eye, but he sure as fuck knows what he's talking about." Yeah, conservative video dipper, 2028. I wouldn't get any votes, but hell, fuck, sure as hellfire, I would try. But I would be afraid because that's a dangerous job. But anyway, before I end tonight's live stream, I want you all to think about this one thing. Please, what is important to us? Is it important for pandering, virtual signaling? Is it important for us to have a better America? What's important to you? Allowing these alleged communist Democrats to continue to ruin everyone's lives, or to make them not do that and to keep America great? I think I know the answer. And to a lot of my conservative viewers, Republican Trump supporting viewers, I know your answers. I know what you will say. It's obvious I know what you will say. Let's keep America great. We're on a roll. Trump's doing so well. I don't want it to stop. Bet your bottom dollar I don't want it to stop. But you know the Democrats and what they're going to do. They're going to say, no pun intended again, the buck stops here. They're going to stop us. They're going to blame us for everything. Whether or not it's our fault or not. Whether it's our fault or not, they're going to blame us. Even if it really technically anything is not our fault, they're going to still blame us. Because guess what? They love to blame. They love to push that on us. Before I end this live stream, I want everyone to think about what this means when we come into a 2028 election. The importance here, the, the takeaway part of what we all should be taking away from this is what's so important that makes us great. And you know what the important answer would be? Because we're all human beings. We have rights. We have liberties that cannot be treaded on, that shall not be infringed, that shall not be, whether it's a government or the voters, be stripped away from us. To have our rights to speak our opinion. Whether you agree or disagree with the person that's in office now, you have that right and liberty to agree or disagree. Just like I disagreed a lot with Biden. I disagreed on everything Biden did. But still, that's what makes America great. It's because we have those rights. We have those liberties. They can't be taken away from you. But these progressive socialist Democrats want to take that away from you. They want to take away your rights, your freedoms. Well, but conservative, here's a question for you before you jump off. Do most alleged Republicans only care about pew pews and not about safety for people? Actually, we do. Majority of us do care, not just about our pew pews, but we care about the American people. This is what matters: is that it's not all about the pew pews. The Democrats want to lie to you and tell you, oh, it's the only thing that MAGA cares for is the pew pews, not the alleged children that are being allegedly shut up in schools. Yeah, we care about them. Why do you think we keep telling you, start fucking arming teachers that can handle it? Why do we fucking keep telling you this shit over and over and over? It's like, God, how many times have we told you this? 1,000 times? A trillion, bazillion times? And y'all don't get it? The 13% of the crime rate is the black community. Sorry, black people that didn't vote for this shit. I'm sorry that we have to all go through this. Whatever race, whatever religion, I'm sorry y'all did not vote for this shit. Because neither did I. And I'm sorry that if you live in a state that is high democratic, I, I, my hat's off to you. I'm sorry. I know you're not part of the demographic of the 13%, but we gotta be honest here. When it comes to the black community, that does make up the 13% of the crime rates in a democratic state, you're probably gonna be saying the same shit I do. Black fatigue. You're tired of these people doing this shit, making your community look bad. Shouldn't you all be tired of it by now? I think we're all getting tired of it. But guess what? We got people out there still voting for this shit. We still got people voting because that want the 13% of the crime rate to continue to happen when it shouldn't happen. When it should not be that way. People should not fear having to go outside their home and worry about, am I going to survive or not? People should not fear that or think about that. Yeah, they should think about it a little bit, but not as much as they have to going into a democratic state. That's what makes it bad. And the black community that didn't vote for this shit knows this shit's happening, but they can't do anything about it. Even if they voted against it, whether you're black or white, if you voted against it, do something. Change. Start waking up and smelling the coffee and realize that the people that you once allegedly voted for, they aren't helping you. They're using you for votes. They're lying. They're manipulating. Because this is what they want. They want you to pretend, just like the media isn't going to talk about this girl who got killed or unalived. They don't want you to acknowledge this shit is happening. They just want to sweep it under the rug. Why do you think a lot of MAGA supporters are starting to really voice their opinion, or should start voicing their opinion more about this shit? Why do you think we're doing it? Why do you think that a lot of us MAGA supporters are not afraid to be silenced? You know why? Because we're tired of this shit. It's common sense, people. We're tired of waking up every day and having to hear you bitch every day about the orange Cheeto man that you hate and that you have derangement mental illness syndrome from because he lives in your freaking head rent free. Saying how bad and god awful he is when you actually voted against him and you voted for the shit to happen in your own city or state. Sounds like not a me problem, sounds like a you problem. But that you problem isn't a just you problem. It's everyone's problem at that point. Because this is how problematic it is. It gets bad. They go from bad to really fucked up to worse. To being a clusterfuck. That is really hard to unscramble. And once we get it unscrambled, the Democrats are really quick to do it again if they haven't learned anything. This is the takeaway that we can learn tonight. Don't let the media bullshit you. Don't let the media, especially the fake media, sweep shit like this under the rug anymore. This is bad. It's bad enough that none of the media is going to talk about this girl, but they might talk about her, but very objectively or subjectively or very mildly about it, not really bringing attention to what's going on. There's it's just gonna be like, oh, it's another normal day, whatever. That's what's problematic is that they just play it off when it shouldn't be played off like that at all. It should be, this is a situation, let's deal with it. How do we deal with it? Get rid of these people that are problematic. We need to prosecute the judges that are allowing bad people to be released from jail or prison. They need to be charged and brought back and kept locked up, and the judges that are allowing this to be done need to be prosecuted and locked up themselves. Not just the politicians, but the judge, the court system. We need to restore law and order. Slowly but surely, Trump is trying. Granted, I know, again, Trump's human. He can only go so far and do so much. But it starts with us. We, the people, must voice our opinion and show how agitated we are by going out there and calling these politicians out and putting them on trial. Not just, again, the politicians, but the courts for allegedly allowing this shit to continue. Because this is what America is all about. Right here, baby. Freedom. Calling people out like that. Holding not only the politicians accountable, the courts, our government entities, all of our government entities, hold them accountable. We need to let them know that they will be held accountable if they do something wrong. And we have the right to vote them out and charge them. If they have done a chargeable crime, charge them for it. Give them what our Constitution allows, which is a fair trial, the right to be innocent until proven guilty in the court of law, give them their Fourth and Fifth Amendment, but have a search warrant to search to see if there's evidence against them. Do it lawfully. Charge these people lawfully. Sure, they may not give us the benefit of that, but guess what? We're at least reasonable. We're being reasonable here by giving them the right to a fair trial, a speedy trial, and their rights not be violated, like our rights should not be violated if we are charged with any crime. Simple. Just simple. I know, a lot of you conservatives and probably Republicans are going to be like, don't even give them the fair trial. Just send them off. But we can't do that. We can't do that, people. Because that would make us look bad. It would also cause more agitation. We got to do it lawfully. Peacefully and lawfully. By letting the politicians that are good, the court system know that are good, we're going to have a trial and charge these people that are doing bad things, keep them locked for life. That's how you do it. Right there. No questions asked. I love y'all. Y'all know that as much as I sometimes hate our court system, we still need to be fair. As much as I may dislike liberals and Democrats and dirty politicians and whatnot, and the fake news, y'all on that side give me content, and I appreciate it. As Outlaw would always say, keep packing, dipping, and spitting, y'all. And I'll see you on the next round. See ya. Get out of here.